Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into something absolutely critical for, well, anyone running a professional financial practice: how to really optimize profitability.
That's right.
Now, there's this deeply ingrained belief, isn't there, that growth just automatically equals more profit.
Mm-hmm.
You get more clients, assets go up, and the P&L statement just sort of magically improves. It feels intuitive, almost a given.
It really does feel that way. But our source material today, well, it's going to challenge that assumption in some pretty profound and, frankly, eye-opening ways.
Okay.
Yeah, what we're seeing across the financial landscape is a pretty big shift. Practices are moving away from being, solo operations or maybe small teams,
Right,
into much larger, more complex structures. Consolidation is driving some of it. Organic expansion is driving the rest.
it makes sense.
And while this transformation, it definitely unlocks exciting opportunities, no doubt about it, it also brings this very specific, often kind of overlooked challenge.
Which is,
Managing that growth without it, eroding your efficiency, or crucially, your bottom line. Our research, it clearly highlights this. As practices expand, they often become less efficient, and their profit margins can actually shrink.
less efficient as they get bigger. That sounds counterintuitive.
It does, but the data backs it up. And this isn't just, an operational headache. Looking ahead, profitability, it's set to play an even bigger, more dominant role in how practices are valued.
So getting this right is essential, not just nice to have.
Absolutely essential. Makes this discussion not just timely, but critical.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because that finding that growth can actually reduce profitability, that's a genuine paradox for a lot of people, I think.
It is.
The good news, though, according to our source, is that growth and profitability, they aren't mutually exclusive, right?
Exactly. The source isn't saying stop growing. And not at all.
Good.
It makes it really clear that by taking a strategic, intentional approach, both to your finances and your operations, you absolutely can optimize both.
So that's our mission for this deep dive.
That's it. We're going to distill 10 essential steps from our source to help you improve profitability while keeping up that sustainable growth you're aiming for.
Okay, 10 steps. Let's start with that central paradox head on, because it really does underpin everything else. This belief that just scaling up, getting bigger, adding clients naturally leads to a healthier P&L. More revenue must mean more profit.
Yeah.
Seems logical.
It seems logical, but what's truly critical here is that the data, well, it consistently proves otherwise.
Yep.
Our source actually dedicates its 10th step, the final one, to this exact point. It's titled, Avoid the Misconception That Growth Alone Improves Profitability.
Pretty direct.
Very direct. It clearly states, and I'm quoting loosely here, larger practices often suffer from declining profit margins unless efficiency is actively managed alongside growth. Profitability needs intentional effort, not just expansion.
So why does that happen? Why does getting bigger sometimes hurt the bottom line?
Well, think about it. As a practice grows, you often introduce more layers, more complexity.
Right. More systems, more people.
Exactly. More diverse client needs, maybe different service models. And without deliberate, proactive management, all these additions can introduce inefficiencies. Little things, maybe big things, that quietly eat away at your margins.
Like death by 1,000 cuts, almost.
Sort of, yeah. It's just not enough to expand. You have to expand smartly, intentionally.
Okay, so the takeaway isn't just about hitting growth numbers. It's profoundly about how you grow. Strategy. Intention.
Precisely.
Not just letting it happen organically and hoping the profit follows. Which brings us perfectly to our first pillar of advice: financial clarity and strategic vision.
The foundation.
Let's start with the absolute bedrock. Step 1 from the source. Understand your financial metrics and benchmark against peers.
Yeah.
Sounds like basic business sense, but I expect it's a blind spot for more practices than we might think.
Though it's definitely more than a blind spot. It's often a really costly oversight.
How so?
This isn't just about, glancing at your total revenue number at the end of the year. It means intimately knowing your expense ratios, your true profitability margins down to the dollar, your operational efficiency across different services you offer.
Okay.
And then this is the crucial part. You need to compare those numbers. Benchmark them against practices that are similar in size and maybe service model.
Why the comparison?
Because our source points out, many advisors accept their earnings at face value without closely examining their P&L statement. They just see the income.
Got it.
And doing that, well, it can lead to missed opportunities for optimization and decreased practice value. Imagine, just as an example, you're spending maybe 15% more on overhead than your peers.
Okay.
But you never realize it because you only look at your top line revenue. That 15%, that's pure profit you're leaving on the table every single year.
Wow.
Without that granular understanding and that comparative insight, you simply can't see where the real opportunities for improvement are hiding.
That makes perfect sense. So once you have that crystal clear financial picture, the next step isn't just reacting, it's steering. Step 2, set clear expense and profitability targets.
Exactly. The source is really emphatic here. Financial improvements don't happen by chance.
No wishful thinking.
None. This is about setting specific, measurable profit targets, expense targets, and making them a core part of your strategic planning.
Okay.
And beyond just setting the numbers, you then need to identify 2 or 3 key initiatives to support your profitability goals each year.
Key initiatives, like what?
Concrete, actionable projects, not just vague ideas. So, for example, if your target is, say, to cut your tech expense ratio by 2% next year,
Right.
your initiative might be to audit all your current software subscriptions and consolidate anything redundant. It's about intentionality driving specific actions.
Got it. Actionable steps.
Yay.
And to make sure that intentionality isn't just a, once a year thing that collects dust, the source gives us step 3. Dedicate time to business planning monthly. Monthly. I can already hear advisors groaning.
Yeah, that's a very common reaction. And it touches on something fundamental about leadership.
Which is?
Our source really underscores that growth requires leadership, no matter how busy things get with clients or day-to-day operations.
Yeah, the daily grind.
You absolutely must set aside time each month to assess business performance from a strategic standpoint.
How much time are we talking?
The advice is specific. Whether it's just an hour or two, just carve out that time. Treat your practice like an asset. View it through the lens of an investor or maybe a future buyer.
Different perspective.
Totally different. It forces you to step back and ask those crucial questions. Are we on track with our profit targets? Are expenses creeping up without revenue keeping pace? What market changes are coming that we need to adapt to?
So it's about seeing the practice not just as your job.
Exactly, but as this valuable entity that you are actively building and managing for long-term success, it's really an investment in your own future.
Okay, pillar 1, financial clarity and vision. Makes sense. Now, pillar 2 gets really interesting. You mentioned challenging traditional thinking about clients.
Yes, this is where we talk about client strategy, quality over quantity. And step 4 kicks us off. Shift focus to quality over quantity in client growth.
Quality over quantity. What does the data say about that?
The data is absolutely compelling on this. Our source makes it crystal clear. Revenue growth is best achieved by increasing the average client size, not just adding more clients.
Bigger clients, not just more clients.
Precisely. And this isn't just, a feel-good idea about working with fewer, nicer people. It's about hard, measurable financial efficiency.
Okay.
The source says optimizing client segmentation leads to greater efficiency and improved profitability. And the research backs it up. Our data highlights a strong correlation between well-structured client segmentation and overall business performance.
So how does that work in practice?
Well,
why is focusing on bigger clients more efficient?
Well, think about the fixed costs you have for any client. Onboarding them, compliance checks, doing the reporting, general communication.
Right. Every client takes some baseline effort.
Exactly. So if you're adding lots and lots of small clients, you're multiplying those fixed costs, but the revenue return on each is lower. You're working harder for a less proportional gain.
Diminishing returns.
You got it. Conversely, if you focus on attracting and serving larger, maybe more aligned clients, your operational leverage improves dramatically. You might be doing roughly the same amount of process work, but for significantly higher revenue per client. And that flows directly to your profit margins.
Okay, so it's not just about getting more people through the door, it's getting the right people. And sometimes focusing on that quality means, rethinking internal structures that might actually be hurting you.
Yeah.
Even if they feel right.
That leads perfectly into step 5. Rethink associate hiring strategies. This one can be tough for people to hear.
Why is that?
Well, if we connect this back to the bigger picture of efficiency, this is a truly critical and often uncomfortable finding from the source.
Okay.
It says many practices hire associate advisors specifically to service their lower tier clients.
Seems logical.
Yeah.
Delegate smaller accounts.
Seems logical, but the data suggests this is actually one of the leading causes of inefficiency.
Really? Oh.
The numbers are pretty stark. Clients with, say, less than $100 in assets, they typically contribute only about 7-9% of total revenue in a practice.
Only 7-9%. Okay.
Now think about that. You're assigning significant expenses like a dedicated salaried associate advisor plus support plus overhead to a client segment that brings in less than 1/10 of your total revenue.
Yeah, that math doesn't sound great.
It creates a direct, substantial drag on your overall profitability. It feels like good client service, maybe like you're creating a growth path for your associates.
Right, training them up.
But often, from a purely financial standpoint, it's unsustainable. It's a classic case of, good intentions potentially paving the road to inefficiency.
Wow, that is a challenging truth.
Yeah.
Because the impulse is always to serve everyone, right?
Absolutely. But what the data suggests is that this specific practice, while well-intentioned, can be a direct drain.
Which speaks directly to the need for maybe more proactive, almost ruthless client management. That brings us to step 9, jumping ahead slightly, but it fits here. Optimize your client base.
It fits perfectly.
Yeah.
This step really reinforces everything we've just discussed. The core message is clear. Not all clients contribute equally to the health of your practice. Some may drain resources without delivering proportional revenue. This isn't about being uncaring, let's be clear.
Right, it's business strategy.
It's about being strategically sound. If you're continually serving clients who demand a ton of time, a ton of resources relative to the revenue they generate, well, that not only hurts your profitability, it also impacts your team's morale. Their ability to deliver truly exceptional service to your most valuable A-list clients gets diluted.
So what's the solution? Just fire clients?
It's about proactive evaluation. Regularly evaluating your client roster allows you to refocus on those who are productive and aligned with your business goals. This leads to stronger profitability and, honestly, probably a more enjoyable work experience, too.
An evaluation might mean what?
It might mean politely transitioning certain clients, maybe to a different service model you offer, perhaps referring them to a partner firm better suited to their needs, or even guiding them towards a more automated, lower-touch solution if appropriate.
Okay. It's about protecting the overall health of the practice.
And ensuring you're spending your most valuable resource, your team's time, where it truly matters most for sustainable success.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, let's shift gears now. From client strategy to the internal workings. Pillar 3, operational efficiency and resource optimization. First up, step 6, explore outsourcing for greater efficiency.
Outsourcing. I know this one can seem costly up front. That's the common perception.
Yeah, you see the invoice and the extra expense.
Exactly. But when you factor in the true costs of doing things in-house, training staff, managing them, retaining them, benefits, all that.
Plus your own time managing them.
Huge factor. Plus the advisor's time spent on administrative oversight. Outsourcing often proves to be a highly cost-effective solution, maybe even cheaper overall.
Interesting.
And our source highlights a key benefit beyond just cost. Many advisors find staff management to be one of the most demanding aspects of running the business,
I bet.
making outsourcing a viable alternative for reducing administrative burdens. It frees up not just money potentially, but also valuable mental energy and time.
Time for what?
Time for advisors to focus on core revenue-generating activities, client relationships, strategic planning, business development, things only they can do.
What kind of things get outsourced typically?
Think about back-office operations, IT support, compliance functions, maybe even marketing execution. These are often areas where specialist outsourcing firms can bring higher quality and potentially lower net costs than trying to do it all yourself.
Okay, that's a powerful point about freeing up mental bandwidth. Next, a critical internal look. Step 7, identify and eliminate inefficiencies in client service processes. This sounds like digging into the nitty-gritty.
It is. And it raises an important question. How many practices keep doing things a certain way simply because, well, it's the way things have always been done?
No. Guilty is charged, probably, for many.
Exactly. The source notes this inertia. We can become blind to our own inefficiencies over time.
So how do you spot them?
The concrete advice is to assess your processes with time value considerations in mind. Actually break down each service, each task into hourly earnings or hourly costs. That can really highlight areas ripe for improvement.
Give me an example.
Okay, imagine you have this complex client reporting process. Takes an associate 3 hours every time.
Right.
Now, what's the true hourly cost of that associate's time, including salary, benefits, overhead? Let's say it's $75 an hour. That's $225 per report. Could automation, maybe some new software or a process redesign, cut that time down to, say, 30 minutes? If so, that time difference, those saved hours, that's pure waste in the old system, whether it's wasted human capital or lost opportunity for that associate to do higher value work.
So it's not just about saving pennies. It's maximizing the value of every hour.
Every single hour spent in your practice by everyone on the team. That's the goal.
That's a profound way to look at it, the time value of everything. Okay, final step in this section, looking outside again. Step 8, leverage teaming and partnerships to optimize resources.
Right. What's fascinating here is how the strategy, teaming up, can dramatically improve cost efficiencies and workload distribution.
Teaming up how? Not just sharing office space, I assume.
No, much more strategic than that. We're talking about things like formal partnerships, maybe study groups evolving into shared resources, or even informal teaming arrangements where practices can pool resources effectively.
Pool resources like what?
Okay, imagine several smaller practices combining their marketing budgets. Together, they could hire a top-tier digital strategist, someone none of them could afford alone.
I see. Strength in numbers.
Exactly. Or maybe they share a highly specialized compliance officer, or pool resources for expensive technology platforms.
Okay.
The source says that beyond just reducing excess capacity or cost, these collaborative efforts can enhance marketing strategies, operational support, and service delivery. And ultimately, they strengthen the overall value of each practice involved.
So it allows practices to offer more, maybe better services.
A broader, deeper range of services and expertise, yeah, without each one having to carry the full burden of the internal overhead for every single specialty.
Great synergy.
It really does. It's about creating these mutually beneficial relationships that lead to more robust, more resilient practices for everyone involved.
So there we have it. A really comprehensive look. Our deep dive into optimizing profitability reveals this clear, consistent message, doesn't it?
It really does.
Managing growth, achieving sustainable profit. It's not passive. It's not automatic. It requires this deeply deliberate, strategic approach.
Across several key areas, yeah.
Right. From really understanding your numbers to building that client base focused on quality, not just quantity.
Critical shift.
And then relentlessly optimizing how you actually operate, internally and maybe even collaboratively.
It's about working smarter, yes, but also maybe making some tougher, data-driven decisions along the way.
Absolutely.
And just to reiterate the final thoughts from our source, managing growth without compromising efficiency or profitability is a significant challenge. Let's not downplay that.
Right.
But it continues. It's one that can be overcome with careful planning, strategic resource allocation, and proactive financial management.
So these 10 steps aren't a magic wand.
Definitely not a quick fix, but they provide a clear, actionable roadmap, a way for advisors to navigate expansion while really ensuring that long-term success, building a practice that's not just bigger, but truly robust and valuable for the future.
Couldn't agree more. And as you, our listeners, consider these 10 powerful steps, we want to leave you with a thought-provoking question, something to mull over after this deep dive ends.
Okay.
What's one long-held process or maybe a deep-seated assumption in your own approach to growth that, based on what we've discussed today, you might need to seriously challenge? What needs rethinking to truly unlock deeper, more sustainable profitability in your practice?
Good question to ponder.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.